Hi, welcome to Reading with Robert. So, this is a new edition. We're going to be reading books. So if you have this book at home, be sure that you grab it, pull it out, and read along with me. Today we're reading my most favorite book. This book is by far my most favorite book. People say like they read the Bible like 5 or 6 or 12 times in their lifetime. I've probably read this one book at least 6 times. It's that great, and it still impresses me every single time. So the book is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, complete and unabridged edition. This has every word from every play they ever put on, every radio skit, all compiled into it. So it's a complete works. Nothing is missing. It's the only book I've ever read that makes me physically laugh out loud when I read it, which sounds great, but it's not. It's the most worst thing ever to have that happen, because so I'm reading, yeah, I lost my place. So I start the page back over at the top again and get to the same funny part. It's taken me up to 10 minutes to read one page before. And that's even after I've read this story a few times. I know what the funny joke is. I know the punchline. And it still makes me laugh. That's how I know it is a perfect book. So unlike the video adaptations. So there's one from the 70s that was on British TV as a miniseries, 3-parter, 3 or 5 parts. The worst thing about that, well, besides being British sci-fi and their special effects, was the sound. Oh my God, the sound was so terrible on it. You couldn't understand anything that was being said, especially what Deep Thought was saying. And so that was actually the worst part. Then they made a remake of it. So excited for that. You know, so long and thanks for all the fish. Great. The beginning is even great. Right up until Ford Prefect walks in. Because, well, let me find it here, how they describe Ford Prefect. All right, so the book describes Ford Prefect as being nicely inconspicuous. He was not capitulally, not tall. His features were striking but not handsome. His hair was wirily gingerlish and brushed backwards from the temples. His skin seemed to be pulled backward from the nose. There was something very slightly odd about him, but it was difficult to say what it was. Perhaps it was that his eyes didn't seem to blink often enough, or that when you talked to him for any length of time, your eyes involuntarily began to water on his behalf. Perhaps it was they liked slightly too broad. They smiled too broadly and gave people an unnerving impression. But they described him as looking like everyone else around them in England. And that is not who they got to play in the movie. In the movie, the new one, they got Mos Def. He don't look like the fucking description of a normal person that looks slightly wrong. So that's my big complaint about that. Other than that, the movie was a decent start. You know, I wish they'd do the other books of it, you know, because this is like 4 books put together, kind of like the Bible is, you know. And so, all right, let's get started with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, unabridged dictionary. If you have a book at home, why don't you bust it out right now and we'll read it together here for the next bit. Afterwards, I'm going to tell you a special sneak peek on what's coming up next. And what that really means and what's really going on. All right, so stay tuned to the end. Preface page 1. This is what would be told in the guide's voice. If we were watching one of the shows, they'd show the animation of the guide with "Don't panic," and it'd say all this stuff. Nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how great it would be to be nice to everyone for a change. Chapter 1, page 1. All right, well, that's chapter 1 is done. That's, can you trust them? To the end of the earth. When's that? About 12 minutes away. Love this book. It's so great. I recommend this as like, should be everyone's Bible. Now, to talk about something else. The next book we'll be reading after we finish this, we just did chapter 1. There's like, I don't know, 100 chapters or something. Is this book that I also love. Evolution by Stephen Baxter. It covers, anamorphizes. Well, okay, well, first of all, I like this book a lot. That's why I got the leather hardbound. And it's also signed first edition with certificate of authenticity by Eaton Press and certificate and signature number 89 of 1000. So this book is a scientific type book. It anamorphizes the evolution up to man and after man. So what it does is it starts all the way back with Perga, the little shrew, and talks about the meteor actually killing the dinosaurs. And then from that shrew's point of view, goes on to everything else. And as that one dies off, it moves ahead a few million years, and you have a lemur jumping from tree to tree, and it talks about that. And jumps all the way up to finally humans. And surprisingly, I mean, this book is like 20 years old, but they predicted CRISPR and the effects that CRISPR is going to have, and when it starts becoming faddish, and when people start upgrading themselves in real time, because having purple spots would be kind of cool. Having spots like a cheetah, having eyes like spot eyes like a peacock, that'd be kind of neat. So, and people do that at the end. It's a great book. We're going to read this one next. All right, we're out here. Ciao. Oh, wait. You want the real one, I guess. Puff, puff, pass, no parking on the grass. I'm out of here. I love that line. Nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how great it would be to be nice to everyone for a change,